Hello, everybody.
Howdy from New Mexico.
Welcome to our home.
It's and our insanity.
Yeah.
You know what? I know that Jehovah's Witnesses aren't supposed to believe like in the God of luck, the God of good fortune, but I really have to make this statement. A couple weeks ago, my darling wife bought me the old moldy sword. We remember this one growing up, don't we? Jehovah's Witnesses. But you know, it's funny because whoever owned this Bible,
Blanche
Cedar, S-E-A-T-E-R or I-R. Well, whoever she was, I have to admit that when I opened up the Bible at 2 Peter, look at what was pressed between the pages. I'll put it right here so you can... A four-leaf clover. Now, isn't a four-leaf clover supposed to be a symbol of good luck? I mean, really? Why would a Jehovah's Witness press this in the pages of their Bible? My goodness. But you know, I got to reading in 2 Peter and thought maybe she had a very specific reason for doing this. And notice what's at 2 Peter chapter 2, starting at verse 1. However, there also came to be false prophets among the people. Sorry, I just have to laugh. As there will also be false teachers among you. These very ones will quietly bring in destructive sects and will disown even the owner that bought them, bringing speedy destruction upon themselves. Furthermore, many will follow their acts of loose conduct, and on account of these, the way of the truth will be spoken of abusively. And really, isn't that what Watchtower has really done all these years? They've really spoken abusively against the truth about Christ. In fact, they've even been so abusive that they dare take away the deity of Christ and demote him
to a mere angel.
To an archangel. Yeah, exactly.
To a mere angel.
So I find it kind of funny that this four-leaf clover is stuck at 2 Peter. So I really wonder, and I like to hope and think that this was something that this sister, whoever owned this particular Bible, read that scripture and realized, hey, this applies to Watchtower. You know, too bad there wasn't a date on here like, you know, her name in 1975. But, you know, we also want to do something that's encouraging this morning for the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Because we've actually been contacted by several who technically are still witnesses but waking up. So
yeah. And the thing is if you're a current Jehovah's Witness, these scriptures, I'd like to help you view them from an objective perspective. If you've got your Bible, go to Hebrews chapter 2 and start at verse 14. And I'm going to read this right from the old moldy sword. It says,
green, moldy.
The green, moldy.
Like
oh, yeah,
that.
you got that one. Well, in fact, I think you came up with that, didn't you?
Technically,
so I'm kind of plagiarizing something from you, aren't I?
Yeah, it was. In fact, when I handed it to you and said, look what I found for you, I said the old moldy sword.
Old moldy sword, yes. But Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. Therefore, since the young children are sharers of blood and flesh, meaning, you know, they're partaking of Christ, he also similarly partook of the same things. So see, Christ also partook of the same things, the wine and the bread. That through his death he might bring to nothing the one having the means to cause death, that is, the devil, and that he might emancipate all those who for fear of death were subject to slavery all through their lives. For he is really not assisting angels at all, but he is assisting Abraham's seed. Consequently, he was obliged to become like his brothers in all respects, that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, in order to offer propitiatory sacrifice for the sins of the people. For in that he himself has suffered when being put to the test, he is able to come to the aid of those who are being put to the test. And you know, quite honestly, when you begin to really step back, Jehovah's Witnesses, and look at the Watchtower Bible Tract Society from an objective point of view, does not Watchtower control you with this fear of death? I mean, after all, if you leave Jehovah's organization and Armageddon comes, well, you might not survive. Or if you're disobedient to what Watchtower says, we're going to have to disfellowship you, and along with that disfellowshipping comes the fear of losing your family. Now, look at also what they did back in 1961 over the blood fractions. They come out with a booklet saying blood fractions were against God's law. So now many of you sisters and brothers lost children because it was against God's law. You became obedient to man's doctrine because that doctrine has changed now to where it's a conscience matter. Why did not your God Jehovah instruct the governing body or the president at that time to say, hey, this is all a conscience matter? But see, they still controlled you by fear, because if you were a Jehovah's Witness when blood fractions were against God's law and not a conscience matter, you became fearful of breaking that law. And because of that fear, you allowed your children and your other family members to die a sacrificial death to the Watchtower Bible Tract Society. So all we're asking is to step back and look at it objectively. Search your hearts and see if what I say is not correct. Because I've been a Jehovah's Witness all my life, practically. You were pretty much born into it. We know the fear and the control mechanism that Watchtower uses.
Well, look at how they view those who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. I've been taught my entire life they're the walking dead. And those who were in the truth and then left, a special horrendous death is reserved for them.
Yeah.
You know, because they had accurate knowledge and the truth to begin with. But yeah, it's just...
Yeah. See,
cult speak.
Cult speak. And if you really, really know your scriptures and take to heart what's said here, especially verse 15 of Hebrews chapter 2, and that he might emancipate all those who for fear of death were subject to slavery all through their lives. And really, when you go from door to door, peddling the magazines and the booklets and the brochures of the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, you are working for a publishing company for free. You have surrendered yourselves into slavery because of this fear of death. So, but you know what though, Jehovah's Witnesses, there are many, many people that are breaking through this fear of death. Is it time again?
Yep, we got more.
Wow! All right, here we go. Wow. Such a beautiful thing, isn't it? Okay, we have Evie. Another family.
At least half a family.
Yeah, at least half. Well, there is a grandchild involved in this one.
So it's another kid that won't have to grow up in the cult.
So these four right here represent the family. You want to read their names?
And we have the dad, John, two sons, Micah and Jamin, and the grandson, Justin.
And then we have two others, because it was a total of 6.
We have Mary and Rose.
Wow. Welcome to your freedom and the ability to escape the fear that Watchtower instills. You know, Watchtower's really got to hate us for this. I mean, really. If we are not on Watchtower's #1 apostate shit list, I don't know who is. Because Watchtower, this is an in-your-face moment. You know why? Because you've recently put out a letter asking for more money because now you need 14,000 Kingdom Halls around the world. Well, I took a count on this board just before doing this video, Watchtower, and since November 1st, 2014, there is 181 people represented. That's not counting those that we've mentioned ceremoniously by name that's represented by this cross. Okay, now if you have an average of 90 publishers per Kingdom Hall, that's 2 Kingdom Halls less that you lost this past year. And you know what, Watchtower? We're sitting on several emails right now where brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters, are saying, get some more pins ready because we're about ready to go. So Watchtower, you've lost. You've lost this war because you're not going to control people with fear no more. Because we're building a community that's stronger and more powerful than you are. Because you know what? We don't ask anybody to live their lives in subject of fear of death.
Are you done with your rant?
I'm done.
Okay, because I wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, no, even more in your face, Watchtower.
Yes. And now I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Sylvan, a French brother.
Okay, now is that the old timers?
Old timers.
Old timers. So let's do
we got one for old timers.
There you go, brother. That's for you.
Yep. And Mike has tried to organize my desk, and I cannot find anything now. But we just got the recent elders letter. And they are basically crying of how expensive magazines and printed literature is. And so they are saying that if there's any extra in your Kingdom Hall to cut down your magazine order and books and stuff like that, and if possible, use your electronic devices so that they don't have to print as much.
Well, now this is what I find ironic, because in that letter, when you and I read that, they also mentioned something about the older magazines still have value. Really, Watchtower? How come is it when a Jehovah's Witness goes to an older magazine and they try to bring a point out on something that's flip-flopped or changed, you tell them, oh, that's old light, that doesn't apply anymore. And then, subsequently, many of them are disfellowshipped for apostasy. Why is that, Watchtower? Why is it that you send a letter out saying, oh, there's still value, but yet when a Jehovah's Witness tries to bring out a point that's changed, they're disfellowshipped for apostasy? So I have a better idea. That's the New England accent coming out. I have a better idea what to do. Jehovah's Witnesses, what I recommend is you go to the hardware store and buy one of those log paper rollers, you know, that use water, and then roll them up like a log, and then throw them in your fireplace and burn the hell out of them, because they don't apply anymore. Just like the blood fractions. All those young Jehovah's Witnesses and or adults that died because they refused the blood fraction to save their life. It's crap. It's garbage. It don't work. It's old. It don't work no more.
Yeah, I just found it. It was buried. What's interesting...
No, wait, no. Well, hold the phone. You said that I tried to organize your desk and I lost it? Now, whose side of the desk did this come from? Yours.
No, right in front of us where you put that article. Don't try to wiggle out of this one. What's interesting, though, is they have this letter... And then they have a PS to the body of elders to read the above letter to the congregation and post it on the board. Well, when you turn it over, it says the following part of this PS should not be read to the congregation or placed on the notice board. And then they say it is the responsibility of the elders in each congregation to keep a regular check on the flow of magazines so that dedicated funds are not wasted by overprinting. Yeah, and this is when they said, This calls for a close monitoring of the magazines being used in this form of preaching. If it is found that many magazines are left over at the end of the month, then this should be reflected in the congregation order. So,
well, there again, I go back to the suggestion. Get yourself one of those newspaper log rollers, roll them up and burn them. Burn them, because there is no more value. When Watchtower flip-flops a doctrine, they're valueless, so you might as well burn them.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not on my Facebook page, one of my friends had a very good suggestion, so thank you, sweetie. Anytime they run across witnesses, they're taking any literature they can get. I mean, they're just they go up to the carts, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I'll take anything you can give me. They take all of this, and then they take it home, and they said, if nothing else, you know, it prevents, you know, others from getting this, and what they're doing is, you know, I don't want to offend anybody, but they're actually burning it.
Burning them.
And,
yeah, because it's garbage. It's crap.
And that's what I do. I don't burn them, but I save it back here in my library, or for anybody who wants these older books. You know, when I find them at the used bookstores and thrift stores and stuff, I buy them, you know, mainly so that no one else can get a hold of them.
That's the biggest thing.
But, you know, some of these we don't have, so we use them. And then for those who don't have it, you know, like Tony Prime, he didn't have a Revelation book, so I was able to find one of those at the thrift store and give it to him. So,
well, it's truly, you know, for us, you know, when we buy things like Watchtower literature, old Bibles, recycling it, well, we bring it home, and whether we destroy it, we use it against them. But the other thing is it also puts money back into the community, doesn't it?
Yeah, because a lot of the used, you know, clothing and bookstores that I go to are actually run by other churches.
Yeah. There's another in your face moment.
For some reason, the
Watchtower.
Salvation Army and the St. Vincent de Paul gets a lot of witness literature. So
yes, I wonder why that is.
So it helps them because they actually both have food pantries. So, you know, I like to spend, you know, I like to shop at those places to help them, you know, with their food pantries and stuff.
Exactly. So it's given back to the community when we go back and repurchase Watchtower crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there again, the other thing is hey, let's have one hell of a book burning party.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've actually gotten quite a few of books that we were missing, you know, that way.
Yeah.
So
before we say goodbye, again, we would like to welcome the 6 or 7.
6.
Well, the 6 pins and the one that's represented by the old timers and the cross. Welcome to your freedom. And if there's anything Kim and I can do to help you along the way, we'll be more than willing to help. You know, we're getting a lot of this lately, so there's been times, friends, that if you've tried to get a hold of us, those that have our personal home phone number, we've actually had to unplug the phone from time to time just so that we can have a little bit of a break.
To do our videos, you know, since the phone is right here, we have to unplug it when we're doing videos. And for some reason, it's been ringing like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So we've had to unplug it at night when we go to bed too. So
you know, it's not that we're not willing. It's just that, you know, it's a wonderful work, but we do need our rest too.
Yes, and I want to thank everybody for your patience. I work at the bottom of my emails and work up. And I finally got 1 page of the emails done. Yeah. But it looks like I'm running about a month behind. So just, you know, I appreciate your patience. And like I said, I will eventually, you know, unfortunately, you know, quite a few send me links to YouTube videos. And, you know, so there's quite a bit of that in there. And unfortunately, I just don't have, you know, the time to watch every single one. Because if we watched all of those, and if I sat and done emails, you know, no videos would get done at all. So appreciate your patience, and we'll try to get this all balanced out and done.
And also, Watchtower, we got a really another unique email yesterday from a non-Jehovah Witness in the Albuquerque area that wants to visit with Kim and I so that we can teach them how to debunk or wake up more Jehovah's Witnesses in the Albuquerque, New Mexico area. So Watchtower, I'm telling you guys, it don't work no more. You need to let all of those in your think tank in Pennsylvania try to decide, because this ship is sinking. This ship is sinking, Watchtower.
And if I read her email correctly, she's a minister.
Well, I don't recall that, but we could reread it again. But the point being, like I've said before, it's pretty bad, Watchtower, when the world, the people that you have condemned to death, are now wanting to learn how you operate and how you've manipulated, how you control by fear of death. And these people are willing to put themselves in a position to help wake up Jehovah's Witnesses. That speaks volumes for the world that you've so righteously condemned to death.
And shout out to everybody, and Peter and Greg, you know, we're thinking about you, brothers. And Matt, you know, you all hang in there. You all hang in there, you know. Just give your family time. Just give them time. You know, it's kind of traumatic. And we know some of you, you know, can't even talk to your family because of the position you're in. So hang in there and know that we're thinking about you. And Ginger, love you, sweetie. And you all have a great weekend.
Deep Throat and
Unknown Apostate.
Carmelita Reinhardt, Avery Orchard, thanks so much for you guys' help and support, because none of this, again, none of this would be possible if Kim and I did not have a terrific,
Evie,
absolutely
Mark and Cora,
terrific.
Eric at JW Struggle. He's got another interview with a current elder, so if you guys haven't seen that yet, go check it out. This is great because this is the second elder now in a month, I believe, that he's had an interview with. You know, so this is good. You know, so
and there again, I think that this is what Watchtower hates to see, is the ex-JW community coming together and absolutely being a force to be reckoned with.
Well, who else can these ones talk to?
They can't.
They can't talk to current witnesses because they're going to be the victim of a witch hunt.
Well, there's that fear again, isn't it? See, there's another one. Step back, Jehovah's Witnesses, and look at the box. If you ask a question inside the box, you'll be disfellowshipped and thrown out. So why not just go to the outside for the answers to your questions and avoid the heartache that comes along with the manipulation of fear of death?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we're going to say goodbye for good now?
I think so.
Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless. And Kim and I love this community to death.
Yes,
we absolutely do.
Just want to give you all a big hug.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.